Hello and welcome back to Wild Sun Art Studio. I am Robinsunne. Let me take you on another paper cutting. Oh, look, orange and orange. It must be almost Halloween. Another paper cutting experimental journey. Okay, so I was going to add this to the last video, but that would make it be a really long video. So let's have a short video, or a shorter video. This is origami paper, and I use this to make paper cuts because it's got really bright colors, which I totally like. And B, which is really a quite important thing, it's very lightweight and you can fold it with quite a bit of precision, and it's not so hard to cut, you know, many layers when you bulk it up like that. So this is fold 1, this is fold 2. We will make fold 3 in 2 parts. We're folding the front to the front, and we'll flip it over and fold the back to the back. We're taking our time, making nice, precise folds. Going over those with the back of your fingernail. You're welcome to use a bone folder. No problem with that, just we don't really need it. Paper's not that thick. And now we're going to do a 4th fold, and again in that same way, front to the front, back to the back. This keeps... You'll notice if you don't fold paper this way, front to the front, back to the back, the distance as you fold this paper around here, it really can't make it. And it makes this piece back here be a little short, and this be a little short, and by comparison, these inner pieces are long, and so you can cut a diamond, but these are going to have a different size diamond than these. So the more equal you can make the folds, the more equal the actual cuts will be. Again, we have to, it's kind of tricky down here at the point, so make that fold, and then hold it down. Get everything in place. Use fingernails to make that nice and sharp. There we go. I discussed last time about, you can see this, right? How we have some extra paper up here, and you can cut this off. I very often do, but the last paper cut was so successful that I think we are going to experiment with keeping that on there again. Alrighty, so the purpose of this experiment is, what if we have a long section of either this side or this side, and I think we'll do this side just to, seems easier to keep my mind straight on that. What if we have a long section, you know how I often make a cut in from here and then a cut in from here? What if we don't cut in from this side for a long section? It'll make sort of a bar, you know, and all the paper cuts will come up to but not cross over this line. I just want to kind of play with what that's all about. So I think I'll make a couple of cuts up here and down here, but not in the middle. We'll make that be solid. We'll just see what it looks like. Okay? Okay. Is that right? Is that right? Let's do a heart, just because we can. Now, in making a cut up here, these two pieces are going to want to wiggle all over the place. They actually already have wiggled all over the place. So while we're cutting the next little cuts, we have to hold that point so that the paper doesn't wiggle away. There. You can't see the, oops. Go away, little snippets. What shall we do? Boy, I've been looking around on, I don't even know how they do it, on YouTube and on Pinterest and Google at paper cuts. And some people get these so delicate. I mean, they have solid spaces that are half this width. A third. I don't know how they do that. This is not something you know what we're also going to do? We're going to leave this whole edge. Now, this is the outside of the paper, right? This outside square. We're going to leave that whole paper solid. Just see what it looks like. What if we did this? What if we did a cut to this side? Cut middle. And cut to that side. So while I was uploading the last video, a person who is running for actually, I'm not even sure if I could name the specific name around where I live here in Maine, came to the door to talk to me about what they think, what's important to them. Of course, I've had well, not of course, maybe, but I have had a couple of different people who are running and also representatives of a couple of different people. Ooh, gasp. That was a very close cut. I think we're okay. Anyway, I've had a couple of people come to my door, and I just want to say, I'm sure they get a whole lot of stuff and nonsense from people like, oh my gosh, I'm making dinner, go away. But I live this life as an artist, and I have been glad that people have come to my door and said, this is who I am, and then I get to say, okie dokie. So tell me what's important to you. What do you care about the most? What are you running about? It's fascinating to listen to people. And the person who showed up at my door today was quite well spoken. It was kind of fun. So I badly want to put a heart right here, but I already did a heart up there. Let's not be boring. Ooh, what if we did this? Oh, right, now we're going to stop cutting here for a little while. Actually, I think I'm going to put one more cut in here. Oh, I know what I want to put here. I want to do one of those cool spiral things. All right. Boy, bigger paper shimmies back and forth a little bit more even than smaller paper. I think it's just that my hand isn't holding, your thumb and finger on a smaller piece of paper. You're holding a greater part of the paper, folded paper item. And it maybe shimmies less, maybe just because it's bigger. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why this is shimmying a lot, but it is. This is different. I think that let's make that squarishy. The spirals that I like a lot are done with straight cuts. They look sort of more like a Greek key and less like an actual water wave. Oh yeah, the paper is moving a lot, so when I cut one layer, I think, oh, okay, I've gotten all the way to the other cut. But the ones underneath have shimmied out of place, and I haven't cut anywhere near the edge on those. All right. Ouch. Out, damn spot. It's a line from Macbeth, I believe. I believe. Let's round off that point. He's trying to get the telltale. Is it? It's Hamlet. I don't know. It's a Shakespeare play. Out, damn spot. There's a joke in my family. I just sent my sister this calendar with illustrations from the books. I'm going to date myself now. Dick and Jane. They were first reader books back when I was a first reader. And it's about a little boy named Dick, a little girl named Jane, their younger sister named Sally, and their dog named Spot, and of course their parents too. I can't remember what they call their parents, but anyway, it's a sign of the times. Anyway, I don't think I actually learned to read on those books, and they always seemed a tad insipid to me. But, they had an older brother and a younger sister. Sally's the younger sister, and Dick is the older brother. And that was the configuration in my family. I have an older brother and a younger sister. So when Dick and Jane would go off and have adventures of one sort or another, I could relate, because I had an older brother and a younger sister. Oh, so anyway, I was thinking there was a joke in my family about the Shakespeare quote, out, damn spot, out. And the dog in these first readers named Spot. So if you wanted Spot to, go out and pee first thing in the morning, and Spot realized, as our dogs always realized, that in the wintertime it's exceptionally cold and unpleasant outside, and much though they wanted to pee, they also weren't at all sure going outside was actually the thing that they wanted to do. So on a snowy or rainy, cold, awful morning, you would stand at the door with the dog, who wasn't at all sure they wanted to go out, and we all contemplated nature for quite a while, but it was cold, and usually that meant somebody was in their pajamas, and it was just funny, to think about Shakespeare telling his dog to go outside, even though that's not what Shakespeare was talking about, but there was a joke in our family that sort of was what Shakespeare was talking about, and it was all very funny at the time, and I'm getting it that that's not at all hilarious now. And look what I've done. A little sunshine. All right, now we're not cutting there. Robinson, we are not cutting there. So we have to make all of our cuts. Oh, I know what I can do. I just figured out a very cool pattern that will make this bar that we're making sort of a part of the whole intention of the C. Only that needs to be skinnier, or else it's going to be a really thick bar, and I'm not going to like it. Okay, can we do this without making a mess? This is actually kind of a lot of paper to be. Goodness, chopping through all at once. I wonder if those people who do really, really, really thin paper cuts, I wonder what kind of paper they use, what kind of scissors they use. Or if they don't use scissors, maybe they use knives. When I was over in China, they very famous for their extraordinary paper cuts. But what they do is take stacks of tissue paper or rice paper. It's really thin paper. Might be rice paper, because I believe they hold up a little better than American tissue paper. But it's very thin paper. But they make a stack of it. You know, it's like that thick. And then they take basically an X-Acto knife kind of a thing, and they cut out, you know, by sawing. They must keep their blades like fantastically sharp. Well, I'm not at all sure about this design, but we'll just keep it up. I find I'm holding right here very, very tightly, because I really, really, really don't want this to squish around too much. Okay, some goes forward, some goes back, and hopefully I can get in there with the scissors. Oof. Nope, not quite. I just found out that a friend's kids, well, one of them is her kid, the other one is the married person, have just moved closer to Mom and Dad and everybody else. And that was a really cool thing. I was talking to my sister, and her kids live, well, one of them lives 3,000 miles away. The other one is only about 1,000 miles away. And I'm trying to imagine what that will feel like should my children decide to move that far away. What's going on here? Oh, this. Pay attention, dear. Oh my goodness. I'm going to make a large hole and do something that I had not planned. I was going to say a swear, and I kept myself from doing that, which I thought was very pleasant of me. So I'm writing this story, and bringing up a memory of some times in my life that have been very hard, and when I swore a lot. And making YouTube videos, I'm very aware of trying not to swear. And I was comparing and contrasting those two realities. Well, that'll be an interesting cut. Okie dokie schmoky. You ready? What have we got here? Ta-da! All right, let us unfold. So you want to take it so that while we're bending all these folds back, we're bending the most of any one particular fold back at the same time. Look at these little scoopity eyelash things. I mean, those would be very chunky eyelashes, but you know what I mean. Ooh, look, there's even a little fold up here from that little corner piece that we decided to keep. That would be the royal we. Well, no, the royal we means you, but I meant me. Whatever. Look, little polka dots. Huh. That's a cool thing. So when I was cutting the origami paper in that little pack, this size of origami paper, it seemed to me that it felt very, very thin, not much different than tissue paper. And this definitely is heftier than tissue paper. So I wonder if bigger origami paper is heftier than smaller origami paper. I don't know. I do not know the answer to that question. I like to ask questions, but I don't always have the answer. Well, look at this. This is looking so Halloween. I can't stand it. Oh, I have sort of a hard time with Halloween. The pagan rituals from Northern Europe celebrate the 31st of October, All Hallows. All Hallows is a Christian name for it. Halloween is a sort of slurred version of the Christian name, and Samhain is the ancient pagan name for it. There are lots of little white spots there. And the modern practice of eating a lot of commercially produced candy is very, very, very different from the ancient earth holiday of the third harvest. So sometimes I have a little bit of a hard problem celebrating Halloween because it's not about just scaring people. What does that look like? Not enough contrast. So you know how I was talking about Halloween? Let me see if there's any black paper. There's brown, dark green, gray, think any of that's going to be dark enough. I just wanted to see what it looked like. I'm not finding any black in here. Well, let's try, what's the opposite of orange? Oh, look, there's blue. And black. That's what I wanted. So there's black paper. What do you think of that? It's very Halloween-y. I don't know how you can get away from that. Let's try this. What if we put it on red? Oh, right. So, well, that's kind of eye-popping. So remember, this was the whole point of this experiment. Remember how I said I wasn't going to cut in from one of the sides? And look what it's done. I wonder why. I don't know if you can see it from there. Let me get close. You see how there's little white spots right there? Huh. I don't know what I did to make that happen. Oh, maybe just bending. You know how last time I said there was paint or ink on this paper? I think there is a coating of, actually it feels like paint, but it might be ink, and that's making all these little white, like it's actually the paint chipping off. Very interesting. I think I can fix that with a little bit of orange marker, try to match the color and see what I can do. We'll see. Anyway, this was the experiment to get this kind of wheel spoke thing going on. And look at these eyelashes or sun rays or I like them. I like this. Let's put orange. Well, did we try this on purple? Sorry, there's a little bit of a fold in the purple. Alrighty, my dearios. Diamonds. These are, well, I'm kind of telling you the story of what these are. A friend of ours was very sick, and I imagined filling up my hands with little energy diamonds and sending them off to her so that she would feel better. And on whatever level that's all about, for the set of reasons that makes holy and beautiful sense for her, I bet she feels better right now. And so there we are. Anyway, I wish that on whatever level of magic and happiness you wish, that your life is filled with goodness. And I will see you next time. Bye.